Whatever. Hi, welcome back to Whatever. And today we're going to start a three-part series on the Troy series. The Troy series is a book series written by John Ringo that includes the three books: Live Free or Die, which is the first one, followed by Citadel, and last one is Hot Gate.
I think so, or Hucking, Citadel, or Switch.
No, I think Hot Gate is the third one. But the point is, three great books.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the story of Tyler Vernon.
Tyler Vernon.
Mr. Tyler Vernon. Tyler Vernon. Tyler Vernon is a man beyond normal comprehension.
Mm-hmm.
This is a man who is so interesting.
Yeah.
We begin the series in Live Free or Die.
Mm-hmm.
And those of you who don't recognize that title, go look on the bottom of the New Hampshire license plate. Why? Because that is the line that goes with the Gadsden flag. Live free or die. Tyler Vernon is a true patriot. He's an American patriot of the old school.
Mm-hmm.
We get a little bit of discussion on philosophy in this book in the later series. But even in the beginning, what you have is Tyler Vernon starts out the book with Tyler Vernon doing all sorts of odd jobs. Why? Because the world has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Several years back, the aliens showed up.
Yep. Named the people are called the Horvath.
And the Horvath has decided to protect the Earth from the bad guys, and will do so rather cheaply by the Earth must give them all their precious metals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tyler Vernon, he don't like this.
Yeah.
Tyler Vernon is what today's societies would be called borderline libertarian. He not a conservative, definitely not a liberal in modern usage. Tyler Vernon. When we first start out, Tyler Vernon is divorced, is late on his child support. He used to write an online comic, and apparently his wife left him when the money dried up. Kind of makes you wonder about her.
Yeah.
But Tyler Vernon goes to a convention as a sci-fi writer when nobody writes sci-fi anymore because the aliens are in the sky, and meets an actual alien.
Yes.
The alien is the captain of a trading ship, a small tramp trader, and they work out a way. They meet, they talk, they try different samples of different things, and Tyler Vernon finds something that the aliens actually want.
And they get drunk off of.
And what do they get drunk on? Maple syrup. So this begins what the first section of the book called the Maple Syrup War, where Tyler Vernon sells these people some maple syrup, and in results gets so much money that he becomes one of the richest men in the world. And he leverages this to buy all the property he can, so that he owns basically the majority of the maple syrup for the next year. And he agrees, works it out to where he actually where he goes to the Glatoon Confederation to sell it. They have to buy, and they basically come and bid. It's the economic side of it is not that important. The point is, Tyler Vernon goes from being dirt poor to being the richest man on earth. Why does he do all this? Not because he just wants to get rich, but because he has a dream. You know, we're talking big dream here. He wants to build a starship. Not any starship you've ever thought of. He's talking about taking an asteroid, he implodes it, makes it big, and hollows it out, and makes the universe's first, basically, flying fortress.
Yep. It's
Now,
bigger than the Death Star.
the B-17 flying fortress from World War II was huge. This was a big plane, had lots of guns, and it was considered, an impressive ship. Ain't nothing to Troy. Troy.
Has no.
What does Vernon keep saying? 2.3 trillion tons.
2.3 trillion tons.
Now,
Everything else is just
Live Free or Die goes from the beginning of Tyler all the way till after the first attack at the gate. During this time frame, Tyler Vernon basically builds solar arrays. The great thing about his solar arrays is what he calls them. John Ringo is a phenomenal author. He brings humor along with his political mindset to make you laugh throughout the series.
Yeah.
Tyler Vernon considers most things to be fiddly bits.
Yeah.
He ain't worried about fiddly bits. He pays people to do fiddly bits. At one point in this book, somebody tries to tell him, but that's not my... And he was going to say, that's not my job. And he shuts up. Because when you tell Tyler Vernon that ain't your job, then it ain't going to be. Tyler Vernon doesn't get along with the news. That was great. Tyler Vernon don't get along with liberals. Tyler Vernon don't get along with a lot of people.
Nope.
But Tyler Vernon got a dream. Now, I loved at the beginning of the, kind of in the middle of this book, the Horvath are circling the earth, getting ready to destroy Tyler Vernon. And he stands up on the top of a mountain, and he's told the Horvath right where he's going to be. Because they're not... Okay, let me back up just a little bit here. Horvath want all the maple syrup. Tyler Vernon says, basically, kiss my backside. But he does so in a very political way. He goes, sure, gladly, whatever. But doesn't follow through. Meanwhile, all these people that grow maple syrup are like, screw you, Maynard. I ain't giving you it. And the government actually sends the military in. And the military screw it up because this is not a job for the military. And the military don't even really want to be there. Finally, Tyler's like, Dad, I quit. Take your best shot. I'll be right here. Meanwhile, he basically dares the Horvath to blow up cities. Now, I know you're sitting back going, he wants him to kill American cities? No, not really. What he does is he says, we don't like him. Go ahead, bastard, kill him. The cities are all where the liberals are. Why? Because he knows that the Horvath won't blow up cities if they realize that's not the right people. Because he talks about the fact the United States is really very divided. You have all the whack jobs living in the cities, and then you have everybody else. And the people that don't live in the cities don't really care for the people who live in the cities. So you're not going to really further your cause of forcing rural America to conform to your will if you whack the cities. Because in some cases they might actually rejoice. The other thing is, he's doing the old Song of the South. That's a book reference, by the way, of Briar Rabbit. Oh, please, not the Briar Patch. Don't throw me into Briar Patch. And so Tyler Vernon has basically challenged the Horvath out. He's standing on top of a mountain, and his associate, the other farmer that grows maple syrup, comes up because he ain't going to let that southern boy have all the credit by himself. And they're standing on the top of the mountain, and they're rediscussing the Civil War. And the Ocho interrupts, which is the new Galactic News, and they want to know, are you guys really discussing? Why not?
Got nothing better to do.
Yeah, got nothing better to do than discuss the Civil War. Or as Tyler Vernon would call it, the War of Northern Aggression. So you have a nice discussion going on there, and the end result is the Horvath are told to back up by the Glatoon. Tyler Vernon then goes out, continues his quest to make the Earth basically damn near impregnable by building more solar arrays than anyone's ever dreamed of that are feeding solar power into collectors that go into condensers and go into combiners that go into another thing. Basically, he makes a giant death ray.
Yeah.
Now, in this, for the first part of this, the Earth has no defenses other than his giant death ray. And Boeing screws Tyler Brennan over and makes a warship instead of a shuttle. In the end, Tyler and one other person end up having to fly that warship to try to fight the Horvath, which they succeed in doing, by the way. A little bit of luck, a little bit of near missing, and Tyler Vernon sucks vacuum for a while. He don't like that. But then they start building the Troy. They take they take asteroids, and they heat them. And if you heat metal, it expands. And once it expanded enough, they hit through a comet into the middle of this, so that you have all this gaseous area inside. And when it cools, you got a giant globe. 2.3 trillion tons of globe with 10-kilometer thick walls. And Tyler Vernon starts fitting this thing out with weapons. And it channels its first primary weapon at the beginning is all those solar arrays collected together, hitting out with this impressive power. Can't call it a laser, but different thing, because I tell you, the point is, Tyler Vernon, he's impressive.
Yeah, he pretty much went, oh, stars made a Death Star.
He made a Death Star that makes the...
I made a Death Moon.
You take the Empire's Death Star, that ain't shit compared to Tyler Vernon's.
And even their Death Planet.
Getting closer. Tyler Vernon. So, Live Free or Die. Number one, storyline, fantastic. Plot, amazing.
I loved it. It was good.
Politics. I'll tell you right now, if you're a little scum sucker, you ain't going to like it.
Nope.
Because it questions most of what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are somebody who actually believes in liberty and believes in freedom, you're going to love this book. John Ringo paints a picture so clearly to show you what is good and what is bad. And that bad ideas, no matter how noble the intention, are just simply bad ideas. Now, if you are interested in this series and you haven't seen it, haven't read it, do go buy the books. You can buy them hardback, softback, electronic books, copies. You can also buy the audiobook. I have both the electronic copies and the audiobook. Anytime I go for a long drive, I have a tendency to chuck these books in because A, I love audiobooks when I drive. B, this book is amazing. And Tyler Vernon is amazing. Fiddly Bits. I love his comment on Fiddly Bits. Everything that is small and inconsequential, he delegates to somebody else because that's just Fiddly Bits, and he don't deal with Fiddly Bits.
He likes bringing it up like, oh, we need raptors? How much? Huh? 2.3 trillion tons. Everything else is just fiddly bits.
Everything else is Fiddly Bits.
Yeah, fiddly bits. I need this thing to move. We can't do that.
Sure we can.
Sure we can.
Nukes. You're going to set off nuclear bombs. Why not? Has anybody ever told you you're crazy? 2.3 trillion tons.
And everybody has. He knows he's crazy. But you listen to the crazy man with money.
And book one, like I said, worth it. Go get it. Buy it, rent it. Go to your local library if you still have one. Check it out. Read the book. Tune in next time. We'll be covering our next one, which I believe is Citadel. And we'll be introduced to a new character, which you did get a glimpse of in this book. Spoiler alert. And we'll cover that in the next book. Either way, this is the Whatever Show. We were talking today about the Troy series, the very first book, Live Free or Die by John Ringo. Go out, rent it, buy it, do whatever it takes. Enjoy this book. I think you will. My son, this is one of those few books that he's actually read.
Yeah.
He loves it.
I just don't remember any of the two major parts. Except for he built
Fiddly bits. Now, this has been the Whatever Show. If you like the show, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Get your friends to subscribe. Get your neighbors to subscribe. Get your enemies to subscribe. And if you're a liberal whiner, go ahead and subscribe anyway, because we'll give you more information anyway. Yeah. Bottom line, folks, this is Whatever. We talk about whatever, and you never know what we're going to cover, so please hit that notification button so that you can be notified. And last but definitely not least, if you wish to donate to this show, you may do so through this platform.
Yeah.
We will be working out other methods for you to donate to us within the next couple weeks. We'll be giving you a Bitcoin